Today is Friday, July 6, 2018. This is MMA Junkie Radio's pre-show, the show before the show. I am Ghost. That's Gorgeous George. That's Dan Tom. And that voice you heard, or that little laugh you heard, was Danny Oakers. I don't even know why he's laughing, because I didn't say anything.
I didn't even laugh.
What was it? Somebody laughed.
I did. It might have been a breathe into the mic.
Oh.
And that might have been me.
Somebody was Michael Myers the other day on the show.
You know who it was? It was Dan Henderson, and he caught himself. So he would lower the mic like that, and then when he was going to talk, he raised it.
I meant before.
Oh.
Like maybe earlier in the week, somebody was doing it.
Oh, because I saw him do it. He caught himself. So those guys know their noses are fucked up.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It got me. I caught that, and then it got me thinking about his nasal passage and what it like if I was the Magic School Bus and what that would be like going through that. It'd be hard to get through, I think.
Winding road.
There's a lot of battles that guy's been through. I mean that in a complimentary sense.
Can I see that real quick? What is this? Right, I want to show people something. This is what is called a tall boy, right? George got a Heineken that was maybe half the size of this. How much do you think he paid for it? Take it easy, Micah. It was $11.
$11 for a can of beer. And I go to my seat to sit down. This was at the UFC Hall of Fame, and then I go, oh shit, I'm credential media. I can't be drinking. So I had to get up. Normally I just throw it away because I don't want to get busted. You know, I don't think they'd really like. They'd probably give me a look, but still, why take a chance, right? I feel like I have good credit with them. So I go. Normally I would just toss it. So I go. I paid $11 for this. So I went in the hallway, drank it as fast as I could, and then even Mark Ratner saw me. He's like, no, you got to drink it. He goes, you ain't throwing that one away.
It's like the Walter Matthau version of the Bad News Bears over here.
Pretty much, man.
Pounding him down before the practice.
Pretty much.
Hi, Carla.
Did you know Micah and Carla used to date in the 3rd grade?
They dated? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they dated. Oh, no, wait. They knew each other since the 3rd grade. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I meant was she probably gave him
George editorializing.
I want to be your Valentine. Probably like I want to be your Valentine or something like that, back and forth, or have a nice summer, see you in 4th. That's the version of dating when you're in 3rd grade. They didn't date. I'm just kidding. They've been friends since the 3rd grade. Did you know that? Did you know that?
One of those two, yeah, but I didn't remember it until you brought it up again. Somebody said that like at a junkie gathering.
They saw each other again years later at a junkie gathering. That was pretty cool.
That is cool.
I asked her, I go, how did you guys recognize each other? She goes, well, he's always been a big fella, you know, but there's no way he could have been that big in 3rd grade, right?
No. I was a stall in 3rd grade.
Me too. If someone saw you I ran into someone from 3rd grade recently, so I'm going to ask you guys this. If you guys ran into someone from 3rd grade, fill in the blank. Hey, George, I remember you from 3rd grade. Do you still? And go, same thing.
Go to Peru.
30.
Play with Voltron.
Wow. They're going to still assume you.
Really cool Voltron that everybody was jealous of. It was like metal, and you could put it together. It was really, really cool, and everybody hated it.
You must have really. I was going to say, you must have really liked Voltron if they're like, you know, when Goes gets in deep into his 30s, I bet he's still going to play with Voltron.
Yeah.
My guys.
Hi, guys. Coming up. Stand by.
This is your captain speaking. We are making our descent into Las Vegas McCarran Airport. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to thank you for flying MMA Junkie Airlines. Now please fasten your seatbelts and put your tray tables in your upright position because the descent is going to be a little bit bumpy.
Alright, Junkie Nation, it's time to roll, baby, on MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Go. This is what we doing while we do it, baby. All night long, we rollin'! Yes!
The MMA Junkie Radio revolution is upon us.
Can you dig it?
There's no escape. No escape. Through the vast frontier of cyberspace and through a sea of stars in outer space.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
We've solidified our combat communications stranglehold.
We are controlling transmission.
With the use of MMA Junkie Radio and SiriusXM satellite radio technology. MMA Junkie Radio. Commence transmission. Live from MMA Junkie Radio HQ in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. Here are your hosts, Gorgeous George and Goes.
From the fight capital of the world, inside the beautiful Mandalay Bay Racing Sportsbook, you are listening to the MMA Junkie Radio Show, the only show that matters. I'm your host, Gorgeous George. With me, as always, is the devious and dastardly Goes. Ari's co-host to my left, the fight analyst, Dan Tom. Back east, handling all the producing duties, it's Danny Otto. What's up, guys?
Danny Otto.
What's going on?
Where's that fool Mike Jackson at?
I don't know.
Supposed to start the show at 10. I should be introducing UFC welterweight Mike Jackson. He asked to come on the show. I said, all right. And I don't see him.
It could be ninja attacking.
He hasn't texted me either. Yeah, I usually get the I'm running late, I'm parking, Uber's dumb, whatever.
Right.
But nothing so far. But you know what? Let's use this time to talk about, or not. Or, okay. So let me tell you my thoughts on the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was last night. Congratulations to everybody that got inducted, including in the contributor wing, Bruce Connell, longtime UFC producer, Art Davie, the creator and co-founder of the UFC, and then in the fight wing, the UFC 139 encounter between Dan Henderson and Mauricio Shogun Rua. In the modern wing, Ronda Rousey, she got inducted, and in the Pioneer wing, Matt Serra. So congratulations to all of them. Also, the UFC debuted their new black blazers, their jackets. Look pretty sharp. Apparently, it's the same maker from other Hall of Fames as well. So the UFC definitely went big there. And the ceremony was definitely a little bit more tighter than in previous years, although there still were a few that, talked a little bit more than the others. I don't want to say the word rambled, because I feel like it's their time, and they can do whatever they want. But I know that the UFC, what they've wanted, because they've heard from the fans, is, hey, let's get this thing a little bit tighter. And maybe eventually that's when it'll probably go on live TV. It's been on the UFC Fight Pass, but it'll grow, you know, and it's taking different steps. So I'm always watching it with that kind of eye, I guess. But I definitely am happy that I went. I enjoyed it. It was cool. Goes, what were your thoughts?
All right, I'm going to start off with the blazer. I didn't like the blazer.
Okay.
Because it's black. And I feel like PGA, if you see that big green jacket, you know exactly what it is.
You won the Masters.
Yeah. And if you see the football one, it's bright and yellow.
You work at Century 20. Oh.
Yeah.
You made it to the NFL Hall of Fame.
Black gets lost in the crowd. Like, there's nothing special about it. So if you're in a room with a bunch of people, I could have a black.
Well, the crest had a little gold in it, I believe.
But still.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
There's still.
But if you wear purple, then everyone's going to think you're security at XS.
Well, I was going to say.
So what color would you go with?
I would say maybe like an off blue, maybe, or something like that. I mean, yeah, granted.
Like Kelvin Gastelum?
like
blueberry
that.
blue?
Not like that. What other colors? I don't know. Something, you know.
Yeah.
Something a little different, or like a little splash of something.
Well, when I saw Art Davie, he was wearing red, and I thought, ooh, is that what they're going to go with? But
now you're valet, though, right? So, I mean,
I guess.
I hear you. I'm sure.
You guys just made fun of like literally 2 of my jobs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Or you could be a movie ticket taker.
My old job.
I want to be a movie. I want to work at a movie theater before I die for 2 weeks.
Yeah?
I just think it'd be fun.
A ticket taker?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about a ticket taker. Okay, and then last year's, I think the criticism was it went on way too long. Okay? This year was a little shorter, but remember, Shogun wasn't there, so that's one less speech that you got to listen to.
They did put him up there, and he spoke for a little bit.
Yeah, it was like 5 minutes, all right.
Okay.
Everybody's speech was a little bit shorter, I think, than last year, so that's good. But I felt like Ronda Rousey's speech was just right. It was just long enough. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. I think she still conveyed her message. The one guy I'll give a pass to.
Hers was the most
Davie.
emotional, I believe.
Maybe.
Because I saw Carolina crying, and I saw, I think they showed Claudia, and I think she was emotional. But I know Michelle Watterson had watery eyes, but Carolina had actual tears. But go ahead.
I forgot. What was his name?
Art Davie.
Oh, Art Davie. Because his has to do with a lot of history, right? So I give him a pass. But I thought overall, I thought it ran a little bit smoother. I thought it was a good show. But I would like to see some of those speeches just tighten up a little bit more.
Right. All right. Now we have to book through these things fast. Is that Mike Jackson? Bring him in. All right, and then the other thing I want to say is yesterday was so packed, we didn't even give a chance to congratulate Jake Cuccinello, who defeated Tyler Diamond, and he's the final finalist in the Ultimate Fighter Season 27. So he's now in the finale versus Brad Katona, and these are the featherweights. So that's an actual representative from Stipe Miocic's team. He lost earlier in the season, but he went into Dana White's office and said, I want a second chance, and he beat what many people felt like was the overall favorite in Tyler Diamond. And it was a great fight. If you haven't seen it,
One of the best
go back. It's a great fight on Tough. It was a great way to end that season. I enjoyed the season. If you're looking for drama and drunks and things like that, practical jokes, it didn't really happen. But undefeated fighters who went in there really, really chasing and going for it, you'll get it. I want to welcome to the show UFC welterweight Mike Jackson. What's up, Mike Jackson? How you doing?
Not much, man. How you guys doing?
Good, my man. Am I right? UFC welterweight Mike Jackson? You still with him?
I knew that was going to be the question coming out. It is. That's right.
Okay.
Still on the roster.
All right. Well, that's a good thing, right?
I think so.
Have you, because is that a technicality, or have you heard from them? No, we got you still.
No, I don't know. I've made a vocal of what I would like next, and it's not a disrespect thing. People know I would like the Ardent fight. Just stylistically, I think it would be a fun fight. I mentioned this one after the Mickey Gall fight. So this is kind of like an old thing, but it's like new fans that seem to be outraged at this for whatever reason. But
we'll get to that in just a second. So we just need Dana White to kind of cool off a little bit.
That's all.
And then perhaps you'll get that chance to go either 1-2 or 2-1. And I think that sounds fair to me.
Yeah, he's an emotional person, and we all know that. And I think it was one of those in the moment kind of things.
Right.
And then once he finally settles down, and he's a busy man. I know he got a lot going on. I mean, he got 2 fights this weekend. Okay. Once he settles down and think about it, I think he'll realize it's a great fight to make.
Okay, now let's go back to UFC 225. First of all, congrats! You did go in there. You got the win, and obviously, we just spoke about Dana White. He wasn't too thrilled with how it ended. You've had some time now, probably, to see the fight, right?
Right. I finally able to.
Do you see anything with what he was talking about? His points of. Basically, he was saying, you were the better man, and you showed it early. Finish the fight, and let's move on. I think is what he
right. And I stated why. In the past, I stated the reason why I went the route of just going the full distance with him. After the first round, and a lot of people know that I wanted the knockout. I was capable of the knockout, but these people aren't in there fighting. They don't understand, what's going on as far as what's going on in my head, what I see from the other side. And for me, I'm cut a little bit differently. I'm not as necessarily as savage as a lot of some of these other guys are. And for me,
that's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
For me, it was being in there and realizing that, it felt like a sparring match, to be honest with you. And it's not a knock on him, but I told people what it was going to be beforehand, and people laughed at it when I said it was going to be a pro versus an amateur, and people laughed at it because. For whatever reason, they only take, everyone as far as the UFC fans go, only see the Gall fight. And they don't do, now, it's not up to them if they want to do due diligence and just look up, a little bit of the boxing and the kickboxing. They just want to jump on it, But if they would have looked at that, they would have seen what I was capable of doing.
That's right. Mike has boxed, kickboxed, and he's also worked in the journalism world, primarily more as a photographer, but he has written pieces. So I understand what you're saying. I guess in your fibers, you're not a 24/7, 365-day fighter with that mentality. Okay, that's a good point. So let me tell you what I thought, and then Goes and Dan or whoever else can chime in. I was sitting there looking at it from a different viewpoint, Mike. As I was watching it, your striking looked really nice, and you were hurting, And I thought, ooh, if this fight don't hit the ground, Mike Jackson all day, hell, he might go in there and ice this guy before the round's over, or for sure, at least by the second, because CM Punk was kind of just looking sloppy early, you know what I mean? And another thing that didn't help was his hair. So every time you were rat-a-tat-tat, it just looked like a mess. You know what I mean? And it made him look even more amateur.
Right.
Now, I'm not here to tear him down.
Right.
We already know you beat him up. But I was telling Goes this, I go, he needs to finish this fight because a lot of people have been treating it as just this has all been a novelty surrounding CM Punk, and you're kind of the supporting actor.
Right.
But because you were looking pretty good right there in the first round and looking like it could finish, I told Goes, I think if he goes for the finish and ices this guy, he may have just earned himself either a contract or at least that next fight, you know, to figure out if you're 2-1 or 1-2, or because again, at 1-2 they may go see ya, you know, and at 2-1 they might go keep it going, you know what I mean? And because the fight played out and you did look superior, I understood what Dana White was coming from. I didn't have those types of frustrations. I was just looking at it from the viewpoint of, hey man, this dude's out there hanging it, and he should get a chance to prove that for sure he's way better than CM Punk, and maybe he wasn't as good as Mickey Gall, excuse me, but he's improved, and you know, if you wanted that third fight, because I didn't know what your plans were. I didn't know if your career ended along with CM Punk's at that fight, but that's what I was thinking. So towards the end, I guess my disappointment was just in, ooh, I hope that didn't cost him. You know what I mean?
And I didn't even think about, like, none of that was going through my head. I wasn't focused on that. You know, I said prior that I never wanted to hurt the guy. You know, because again, like, just what he was there for, it was no reason to go that route with him. You know, but I just wanted to beat him up enough to let him know, it's like, yo, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I felt that I did that in my performance. And that's all that was really going through my mind. And then after the fight, I was like, yo, he gave it to me. But that's the other thing is, like, that's not my style. Like, I'm not a taunter and I'm not a showboater. And maybe from his point of view, and I asked a few people, and they say, yeah, it kind of looked at it like that. But then they heard what I said about the fight, went back and watched it, and they was like, all right, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, all right. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about after the fight. So, did you get a chance to talk to CM Punk? What was that conversation like?
You know, even like going into the fight, like I have respect for people. You know, anybody willing to step in there, even make the walk. You know, I have all the respect for him. And then following the fight, I said the same thing. Like right as the bell sounded, you know, we embraced, and I was like, yo, you're a tough dude, man. Like you got, you know, his heart could fill that arena. You know, and then I even ran into him in the back, and I don't know if he remembered everything, because like I said, he did have to go to the hospital. He was pretty concussed. But same sentiments, you know. It was like, look, man, you have to hold your head up here. You know, you have to, because again, there are a lot of people in that position who would have quit. Like, we've seen it. We've seen it on TV. We've seen fighters legit like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. And he could have went that route, you know, but he didn't. He toughed it out.
What happens now going forward?
You know, I want the fight. I want the Arnold fight. You know, and you know, I think the Dana comments, it really put a damper on everything. Like just the moment itself. You know, and then obviously the internet fans, the trolls, they came out and they just gobbled that up, just just like I was gobbling up the booze. And people were mad about that. You know, I think it was just they didn't know me and know my style. You know, when I came out and I'm doing this with my hands, and I think y'all have an arena full of people that are booing me right now. You know, maybe on at home you couldn't really understand what I was doing, but the crowd was loud. They were booing, and that was me just nom-nomming their boos. You know, even at weigh-ins, it was the same thing. It was that crowd interaction that I like. That for whatever reason, people were like, yo, you're being disrespectful, and I didn't get. But now next, you know, I want the Artem fight.
I guess there were times where you were on top, and because you would look at your corner, if somebody understood what you were doing, which was you were looking at Pat and the other coaches, hey, you know, because this is only your second time, and you're on a huge pay-per-view. Right. So a lot of fighters do that when they have people. They'll look at their corners, you know, and to get instruction or whatever. But I think a lot of people also thought that you were. That's when you were showboating. Kind of like looking at the camera and then like.
Well, I wasn't even even that. Like that was more like when I kind of like whirled my fist up, and it was really because he was trying to grab, and so that's my way of preventing that. Like everything I was doing, there was a reason behind it. And so as far as like the looking at the corner, so if you have someone on the ground, they're not well. In this situation, the guy was on his back. He literally did not move his head. Right. So in my mind, I remember throwing a punch I threw a head punch and it landed. But when I was looking at the corner, and so I threw another one. I threw the left, not looking, and it landed. And I was like, well, when I don't look at him, the punches are landing. I mean, I can feel them in my knuckles. And again, he wasn't moving his head. So if I see his head right here, why I don't have to look at it because it's not going anywhere. And that's how for me, that was a thought process. I was like, this dude isn't moving. And that was the other reason I stayed on the ground so
Like
much.
almost like Sugar Ray when he's throwing them off and they're going, bah!
Kind of like, well, that, and I was really trying to prevent him from grabbing me. Because,
Okay.
again, that's what he was trying to play, the little hands game. But, yeah, man, it's just like, I don't understand. It's like people were legit upset. It was like, yo, you're being disrespectful because you didn't look at him when you hit him. I was like, when did that become a thing where you had to look at someone to hit him?
That was the comeback is? Shut up.
Well, I was going to say I'm glad you pointed that out because that was one thing that I thought was there were a lot of criticisms and everybody's all over the board. Whether it was Dana White's Extreme one, which, like you said, it kind of paints a picture to you have your internet fans. But the one thing I didn't get because I said this on the show where I defended it was the whole what they were calling bolo punches. I didn't understand that at all because there was A, practical reasons for it, like you were just pointing out, and B, what is wrong with misdirection? Are we going to call a no-look pass in basketball cocky? Do you have to do a Iverson killer crossover to get it? No. It's just one is impressive, one's more impressive. They're both impressive. They both have a purpose. And I just didn't understand that. And again, just basic $2 karate self-defense. They're going to teach you like, hey, you grab a wrist, you circle to break the grip. Like, how do you not know that? And so I'm sorry, I had to say that. At least on that one. But
and the funny thing is I kept hearing this bolo punch. It took me like 2 days to figure out. I was like, what is he talking about? And like, I think it was like, no, it was Sunday night. We were out, and a friend of mine mentioned, he was like, I think he was talking about when you were like kind of winding up and throwing to the bottom. I was like, when I was trying to not let him grab me. I was like, that's all it was. And again, in the moment, I didn't feel like I was taunting. I felt like I was trying to prevent him from grabbing me. And again, I can see it from the outside looking in. But if you listen to what I said after following the post-fight speech, you're like, oh, okay. Again, I had a friend of mine who said he was interviewing me, asking me questions. I told him what I said. He went back and watched the fight. He was like, I get it now.
Yeah.
But people are in the moment, and they're like, I see it right now. This is what you're doing. And they run with it.
Mike, the trolls, all the haters, all that, does he still have like pro wrestling, like that base? Do they still love him, and were they coming at you?
Oh man, there's his brand is strong.
The
wrestling fan, it's died down now. Now it's more the people, the trolls who want to fight me, and I'm just like, dude, I got these guys now who are coming out the way. I had one kid I'm getting a couple guys from Canada for whatever reason. The Canadians want to fight me bad, but
A lot of virgins up there.
Could be good, but I don't get this anger and aggression toward me. Like the dude, one cat, he legit. After I told him several, like, look, man,
in-person fight or internet troll fight?
Well, no, he had a promoter contact me, like from Canada, and I was like, my dude.
So he's built. So you got a name now, Mike Jackson. He wants a piece of that because you got a piece of CM Punk. It's just a chain reaction.
Yeah,
let me say this: you've kind of, I guess, let your guard down and said, okay, I understand a little bit of what Dana's saying. And I would say Dana also has to understand a little bit of what you were saying, especially in the fact that, again, you're not a 24/7, 365 fighter. You also have another career, and so you are wired a little bit different, even though you do have fighting skills.
Right.
So I just think that in most cases, honestly, if two people just let their guard down and see what the other one's saying, and this goes for politics, religion, anything. It's like, yeah, and then we can still get along. And here's why you guys should get along. Your traffic did well. You know what I mean? And that's just Mike Jackson by himself. You and CM Punk, obviously, CM Punk traffic is a monster. But even individual Mike Jackson traffic did well. So I know if it did well with us, and I see it, other sites also tweeting or saying things or fans, then I'm sure the UFC, there's a geek back there going, oh shit. You know what I mean? Because they want to know, what were the trends, who sold the pay-per-views, who did what, and at some point they get a report, and then they start looking, and you don't have to go too far down to see that people were talking about you. So hopefully you can pin down one of these matchmakers or the president, go, give me one more fight. You know what I mean?
And I reached out to Uncle Dana, so hopefully.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I reached out. He ain't hit me back, though. He still got me on timeout. Yeah.
Run into him. Don't reach out by the phone. Because you know why? You know why you may not run into him because he's too busy fumbling through his phones and getting to the ones that text him. But the ones that run into him get his time over the ones that text him. That's how I think he works.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I'm with that.
Hey, speaking of reaching out, all right, you represented a lot of people. A lot of people that maybe weren't vocal on social media, There's a lot of people that weren't happy that a guy named CM Punk was cashing a big check and hadn't really done much in mixed martial arts. Any of those guys reach out and give you one of these?
Oh, I got a lot of that. I got a lot of love and support, you know, and that's what it was about. Like I said, I didn't want to hurt the guy, but I wanted to beat him up enough. It's like, look, man, you went the wrong route. This was not the route you should have went. This was not for you. So look, I tell people all the time, not everybody is meant to do everything. You get people who say, oh, I want to try this or try that out. It's like, yo, that's not meant for you. Fighting wasn't meant for him, you know. And so I wanted to go out there and show that. And then I sent the dude to the hospital. It was 30-26 on all scorecards, and people talked about that. People called it a bad fight. I went back and watched the fight, even without commentary, and I was like, this wasn't a bad fight. Now, there are some things I would have done a little bit differently, but the overall game plan would have been the same, and it wasn't a bad fight. All the people hating, they got to stop. They got to stop.
All right. When would you like to fight Artem Lobov? Write the script for us.
You know, I want it for me to make 55. It's going to be a little bit of a process. I can't make it. I've made it before. I can't make it again. For me, the 170 is just more diet and exercise. But for 55, it's going to take a little bit of more dedication for me, and I'm willing to do it. So if we have something, you know, possibly toward the end of the year, you know, like a November, October, November, I'll be done with that.
Why him?
I think stylistically it will be a great fight. So after the golf fight, I went down the roster, and I was just looking at some potential matchups that I thought would be good for me. And I came across Artem Lobov, and I saw that he had fought at 55 before. I had fought at 55 before. You know, I think now, and it's been a little time since then, but now he's 2-4 in the UFC. You know, I'm 1-1. And I know he has a far more extensive MMA background. I have, again, I have the boxing and kickboxing as well. And again, the most important thing here is stylistically. You know, and it's not a knock on him. It's not like I'm just, you know, I don't want it to come off as being disrespectful. You know, I just feel stylistically it will be a fun and exciting fight.
What about at 70? Is there anyone that you feel like you might match up with?
I don't know. I really hadn't looked at the 70 division, but man, it's a talent full of killers. You know, and if I can find an Artem style fighter at 170, I'd be down with it. You know, but I think just stylistically that would be the best fight for me.
Have you talked to anyone as far as what might be next? Anyone from the UFC that wears a tie?
Nah, nobody.
People still wear ties? I don't know.
I think they just wear the black polos.
Okay.
Which is a nice polo, by the way. I've talked to a few people. No one in particular, and no one higher level.
Enough on that?
Well, I haven't even had that conversation with them. I've been sort of trying to get back to regular life. You know, the fight week is a crazy time, man. It almost felt like a summer camp a little bit, just the entire process, and then but just acclimate myself back to regular traveling and going around to these different promotions and working with them. So just doing that, and I think I'm gonna get back in the gym here this week. It's Monday, so you know, see how I feel. I don't feel like I gained too much weight. I was a little scared when I got on the scale a few days ago.
What did it say?
183.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, and I've been eating too. I hadn't done anything.
Are you back here again as a journalist, photographer? Are you here a vacation, or
yeah,
did
I'm
the
just
UFC
here
bring you
hanging.
out?
No. I'm just here hanging out. You know, my guy Derek Lewis, one of my teammates. You know, he has a big fight. Moved up to co-main event now, so I'm just out here supporting my guy. That's it. You know, and this is the first weekend in a long time where I didn't have anything to do as far as like working. So it's been a fun experience out here in Vegas.
How does Derek beat Francis? Did you see Francis came in 10 pounds less than when he fought Stipe?
We expected that. We expected a leaner Francis, but I think the Beast has too much experience. You know, I'm not gonna. Some people like to come in here and just go, oh, it's gonna knock each other out. You know, I think it's more than that. You know, these guys is future on the line here. You know, this is for Francis. I don't think it's possibly a title shot. I think it's maybe put him right back up there, maybe one out. For Derek, I think this gets him a title shot with the win period, but a spectacular win, 100%. But I think he has to go out, be smart. You know, we talked about using the wrestling. People have mentioned that over and over again, especially because of the Stipe fight, and get that TKO.
Let's take this quick break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on SiriusXM Rush 93. We have Mike Jackson here in the house. He's coming off a win over CM Punk at UFC 225. Trying to figure out what might be next for him. Also going out here, big shout outs to the YouTube chat. Adam Zuniga, that's AKA DJ Zoo. Danny Okers, of course, he's in there. kind of sifting through it, punting fools, hanging out. Don Piccolo, that's Don Rancho. Doncho from Rancho Santa Margarita. I see Cutie Pie 15. She's in there. Who's ready for 226? This guy, Jason Ford. Me and him are always button heads on Facebook. And I'll shout out some more when we come back.
Do what they say, and your life will be a lot better. Here are Gorgeous and Goes.
2 more World Cup quarterfinal matches come your way tomorrow on SiriusXM. England, coming off their first ever World Cup penalty shootout, takes on Sweden, followed by the host nation Russia going up against Croatia. Get pre and post match coverage beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM FC 157. For live play-by-play beginning at 10 a.m. Eastern, turn to Fox Sports on SiriusXM Channel 83. And streaming on your phone or at home on SiriusXM connected devices and speakers. Mike Jackson joining us here in studio, coming off a big win over CM Punk at UFC 225 in Chicago. That still feels pretty good, right?
It does, man. It does. I could
UFC big win, like you won in the UFC.
I know. And the crazy thing, it really hasn't even hit me yet. I remember after the golf fight, it was about 1 that morning. Like we were out. We had a little after party, and I was just sitting there. It was all loud, couldn't hear anything. And I remember I looked at my watch. It said 1 a.m. I was like, "Yo, you fought in the UFC." Like it was weird. But for this one,
you won in the UFC.
I know.
You had fought in the UFC.
Well, that was the first one.
Oh, the
now,
first one. Okay.
Yeah, this one, man, that one ruined my whole experience. I was telling people, I do this thing called the Truth Food Tour. I get to travel around the country to these different events, and when I go there, I like to pick little dope food spots to go to. And after this one, I was telling people I was in Chicago for the first time. I want some Chicago deep dish, and I remember having that first slice in my hand, and then it's like, "Yo, you hear what Dana White's saying about you?" And so I didn't even get to enjoy that Chicago deep dish like I wanted to.
That can happen. It can happen. All right. Did you go to the Hall of Fame, by the way?
I did not. I heard some good things about it.
Ronda made her first appearance, really, with the MMA crowd, I guess, if you want to call it, since the Amanda Nunes loss.
What was the crowd hype like?
What was the crowd like?
What was the crowd hype like? Was it
for her or for the whole event?
No, for Ronda.
It was good.
Okay.
It was really good. For one, she had Dana present her.
Okay.
And he really did a great job of building up, everything she had done, because he talked about just the impact. Well, first of all, he talked about sticking his foot in his mouth. Mm-hmm. Women will never fight. I learned a lesson. And this young lady, sold women's MMA to me. And he talked about telling Lorenzo that he's going to do it, and so they did it, and they built it up. And next thing you know, she became a huge star, not just in our sport, not just in sports, but she transcended into pop culture. And so, as he kind of went through that little history lesson, because it was about a 10-minute presentation from him, it was pretty cool, and he really put it all out there for her. You can tell he, loves her to death. Not just as promoter fighter, but friend or whatever. Right. And so everybody got into it. Now again, this was huge for women in general, not just women in combat sports or in just MMA, but you could just tell a lot of the women that weren't fighters were just being moved by him talking and taking us. Well,
it's motivational, man. She has a great story. I'm very happy for her.
Knocking down barriers.
Dude, she knocked down barriers. She transcended, not even combat. She transcended sports.
Right.
And that does a lot for people for their self-esteem and their self-worth. You have this woman who she jumped to a sport, again, a man's sport, or traditionally a man's sport. And she became one of the.
Well, actually, you're right. A man's sport. I mean, women hadn't fought yet in MMA, right?
Yeah. Well, no, they haven't fought in the
MMA. Yeah, you're right. Strikeforce. What am I thinking?
They haven't fought in the UFC.
I guess, yeah. If we want to talk about just the UFC,
yeah. Right. But no, people look at that, man. And I'm finding that as I've grown and as a person and just throughout life is people, they gravitate toward those kinds of stories. And she has an amazing story. She came from nothing. Like her mom would wake her up and throw her around and armbar. Well, then after the Olympics and the trials and tribulations she went through in life, people feed off that and it helps them grow and become better persons.
Yeah, and so then I started watching the female fighters specifically, and Carolina was breaking down a little bit. By that I mean now the tears are flowing and she has to kind of dab a little bit. I saw Claudia Gadelha get watery and Michelle Watterson, and I wasn't spending my whole time doing it, but I wanted to see because I saw a family of four, so I saw the woman the mom of the 2 kids. She was really liking what she heard, and a lot of signs. So the level did go up by the time we got to Ronda's presentation and induction, and it was really, really cool. And then Ronda came out, and she came out like she normally does, with a little bit of swag. Now when she got to the speech, it got a little difficult for her at times, and like Goz said earlier, she got in and she got out, said what she needed to say. But if we want to like probe deeper into it, I can still tell that her fall from grace has deeply impacted her. Like
100%.
Her swag, her confidence, it just used to be so much different, And I don't know that if this was the fault of the internet that came after her, like Wolves when she lost. Or media. I mean, media is just doing their job. I don't think anyone's really been too out of line. I think it was basically the internet
100%.
Tore her down. Because even the fans, anybody that boos, usually will run into a fighter and still tell you, great fight, outside the venue. You know what I mean? Inside the venue, hey, I'm on this guy's side.
Right.
I have every right to boo you. But outside, hey, great fight. You know what I mean? But so something happened. I think the internet really, really tore her down maybe. And
she
didn't take it well.
Her ego, man, was massive.
Yeah.
You have some. But and not a knock on, like, it was deservingly so, for everything that she's accomplished in this sport, especially in the short time frame. But it's hard when you have someone with that type of ego and then they just get knocked down. I mean, it was just the Anderson Silva kick to the face, and that just takes you off that pedestal. And some people, they don't know how to accept that.
Right.
And she went to hiding or whatever. She didn't come outside for for quite a while. And some people, they can't handle that type of criticism because they've been praised for so long.
Right.
She didn't do anything wrong. She was undefeated. She was starching people. She became this polarizing figure. She transcended the sport, and then all of a sudden, it's gone.
And 2 years later, she still hasn't got it back, but she will one day. But it still hasn't happened. I was hoping right here she would break out of it. You were gonna say something?
Well, I was gonna ask Mike. I think if Ronda came in and just armbarred people over and over, she'd still be popular. But a lot of what had to do with the whole Ronda Rousey takeover was her attitude that came with it, her interviews, the scowl. There were a lot of pieces to that. When you came in, you came in under different circumstances, right? Like fighters just kind of have to win.
Right.
In your circumstances, did you feel a little pressure to, because you're a fun guy to interview, you're a fun guy to talk to, did you feel any pressure to kind of build a character along the way of winning fights?
No, me, when the interviews, that's just me. Like, it's not really a character. I mean, it's magnified a little bit. This isn't me all the time, 100%. But for the most part, like, this is just me. And so there was pressure, though, to go out there and win. I'd say 100% that in my mind, I was like, I cannot lose to CM Punk. I was like, I will never live this down,
So the way the fight played out, is that how you saw it in your head? I know you saw yourself winning, but did you see it going down that way?
Not initially. I didn't. Again, I wanted the first round knockout. So about even the knockout. So my thing is, I hit him. I mean, I hurt him several times. Feet came together, but he never went down. If he would have went down, the fight would have played out differently. And so when I hit him and I hurt him, I didn't want to just immediately run in and get caught with something. And then that's not. I'm not really I don't know, like an aggressive style fighter. I'm real laid back and chill. Like, what you saw out there, that's just me. Like, people say, man, they told me I was disrespectful because I looked bored when I was fighting. I was like, I looked bored? But no, like, that's just me. And when I would go in, I didn't want to get caught with anything stupid and silly. And after the first round, I was like, yo, we might as well just have fun here. Let's go out. And I know Joe Rogan made a boxing reference. He was like, it looks like he's carrying him. And I mean, I was. Because, again, I knew why we were there. Anybody else that I'm fighting. And then, again, he did not belong in there. And, again, not a knock on him. It's just what it is. And so, again, I'm wired a little bit differently. I couldn't knock that man out. I couldn't, like, leave him face down on the mat, knowing why he was here. anybody else, I would have no problem. Because somebody was like, oh, you shouldn't be fighting because you don't have the killer instinct. It's like, nah, I still had a killer instinct. It's just I know he didn't deserve that.
So going forward, now you've kind of looked over the roster. You like that Artem Lobov situation. But I know you've played it out in your head. What is it you see there?
Oh,
How does that fight go down?
I see, again, you have two guys. You know, I work very well with the distance and angles. I mean, and I even displayed that in the Punk fight. I didn't give the entire repertoire, but we went out there and I showed some things. And I just feel he's going to come. He's going to come hard. He's going to be a pressure fighter. But I think just getting punched in the face repeatedly is going to eventually slow him down, and I think I get the TKO finish.
All right, we got to take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back. We got to talk to Julian Marquez for a few minutes. He wants Junkie Karma. Fighters who do the show on the day of their fight, 61-16. We did take a hit the other day, so we're just below 80%. But I think we're going to bounce back. Julian Marquez says he's going to handle some business tonight. He fights tonight at the Tough 27 finale versus Alessio Di Chirico. I always butcher it.
That's
we'll
a cool name.
It's George and Goes.
All right, we're back here on MMA Junkie Radio. A Friday, but it feels like we've been here for 2 weeks because International Fight Week, Hall of Fame, World MMA Awards. It's been a crazy pace, but if you're an MMA junkie like me, like George, like Dan, like Mike, you're having fun.
Yep.
100%.
All right, so right now let's talk to Julian Marquez. He will be fighting tonight at the Tough 27 finale against Alessio Di Chirico.
Nice.
He joins us now on the hotline. What's up, Julian? How you doing?
What's going on, guys? How you been?
Good, and you?
I'm golden, man. Just ready to rock out tonight.
Yep. All right. So, Junkie Karma, are you feeling it? Fighters who do the show on the day of their fight are 61-16. We were 61-14, but last week we took a hit. I can't lie to you, but I need you to set things straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll set it straight. I'll go out there and do what I do best.
Yeah, you're a finisher. I'll give you that. So which round are you going to do this thing in? First, second, or third? I'm filling out my dance card over here.
Man, to be honest, Alessio is a tough guy, and there's a lot of reasons why a lot of people haven't finished him. So I'm not going to say which round it's going to be in. I'm just going to go there and wait for the opportunity to present itself, and whichever round that may be, it could be first, second, or third, and then that will be. I'm not going to tell you which one. I can't predict that. If not, I'd be a millionaire living in Vegas, making all these predictions.
Well, I'm gonna put down the first. I'm gonna put down the first. I believe in your skills, my man. Listen, we are gonna keep it short today. Goes, if you want to say anything, or Dan, or Mike Jackson, UFC welterweight, he's here with us co-hosting the first hour. That's fine. But Julian, I do have to address this. You missed weight. Mentally, did that mess with you at all, or have you been able to set it back? It was 24 hours ago, and you ready to perform tonight?
Yeah, I did miss weight. There was stuff that happened, but I mean, I could give you an excuse all day. I'm taking complete ownership. I missed weight. That's all me. Anybody could say whatever they want towards me, could say anything. They have full right. I missed weight. I didn't come in professionally on that one. This is one battle I lost. But, that was yesterday. Today's the new day. I'm ready to go and be respectful throughout this whole entire process. Just go out there, get my W, and then continue my journey.
Goes?
Is there anything, the stuff that happened, I know you can't really share, but it's nothing that's going to affect you in the fight. It was just stuff that affected the weight cut, correct?
Yeah, it wasn't anything, nothing. It wasn't because of the cut. There was just some complications we had during that time frame, and that was just what happened.
All right.
We're good to go though. We're energy levels high. My body's great. I use Lockhart to rehydrate myself, and they have this great system and algorithm that works best for my body. So he's got me up here, and I feel great. I'm walking around 203 pounds right now. I'm going to go eat, go drink up, and then I'm going to go into I have to do another weigh-in, be under 210 for the fight. So at 3 o'clock today, I'll weigh in, and then after that, then it's just we're good to go.
Mike, did you want to ask something?
Yeah, you recently mentioned, people are going to, criticize you a little bit as far as missing weight. What's your stance on fans, overstepping their boundaries with their opinions? It's obviously okay for people to have their personal opinions, but, fans, they like to rag on fighters who miss weight and they've never cut weight. What's your take on that?
That's okay. I mean, look, you know what? This is I miss weight. It wasn't you that missed weight. It wasn't George. It wasn't anybody else. It was me. So if these fans want to say anything about it, if they do, they have all right. They can say whatever they want. They can step their boundary. They can call me whatever. But again, it's not going to affect me. It's their opinion, and not a lot of people are going to listen to it. And then people just aren't going to follow them and listen to them bashing you all the time.
Right.
So yes, I miss weight. It is what it is. So
now,
cool.
do you feel that with the spectacular performance tonight, that sort of negative energy sort of fade away?
It doesn't matter if it does or doesn't.
I got you. Some people just look at it differently. I just wanted to ask you about that one.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't, there's always going to be that, oh man, this dude's a savage, but, or this person did this, but there's always going to be that. So it's like, there's nothing I could do to alter the past. There's nothing I could do to change someone's opinion. And I'm not here to change people's opinion. That's not my job. My job is to go in and perform to my best abilities, live my life, and change the ones around me. That's what I'm here to do. People that I don't know, people I've never met, they can say whatever they want. And they have every right to. I give them permission. Please go ahead and do what you need to do. So what you need to say.
Go out there and do your thing, Julian Marquez. We'll be watching tonight, man. That Junkie Karma is basically gonna shield you from all of that. You know what I mean? It happened yesterday, and now we're done with it. Go out there and do your thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, man. Thanks for the time today. All right, take care. We'll see you. Let's take a quick call from Marco in Waco, Texas. What's up, Marco? How you doing?
Marco from Waco. ¿Qué pasa, vatos? I'm Mike Jackson.
¿Qué pasa, man?
Hey, so last night, Jake Shields got knocked out by a 5'7" Randy Cooper III. Oh, I'm kind of impressed with that short dude. That's 170 pounds, man.
Dude, those are some pretty vicious strikes. Ray Cooper the third
face planted off that first one.
Yeah, Ray Cooper the third throws hard. He has some great follow-up, too. You can just tell, man, his kinetic energy on how he throws his punches. Wow, look out for that dude.
I'm not going to front, Gigi. That preview you recorded, if you remember, I think both me and you, we had shields. Like, I'm not going to front there, but I did say that left hook from Cooper was going to be that punch to watch out for in that fight. And, man, he was finding it early off the counters, off the kicks. It was impressive.
So now the Cooper trilogy is the Cooper family 2, Jake Shields 1, or Ray Cooper the third 1, Jake Shields 0. And then, of course, Jake Shields, who fought the dad, is 1-1. So interesting little tie-in there. But
yeah.
Jake doesn't lose too often, and if you get him, man. And that it's a race. It's a race. If he gets you to the ground, it might be curtains for you. That's why you got to put something on it for him. Now, remember, that was a pretty brutal KO. So can Jake still come back from that and participate in the next regular season matchup leading into the playoffs? Because Jake's the type of guy where you can make him the 8th seed, the 1st seed, the 6th. It doesn't matter. Jake Shields is just Jake Shields. He goes out there and he wins most of the time. But I wonder how that KO, first of all, you're going to have to serve a suspension.
Yeah.
I don't know what D.C. is like. Is that their own commission, or are they under Maryland or a neighboring state? And will Jake want to come back, from something like that? Because that was pretty savage.
That's one thing we didn't take in consideration, right, when we were breaking all the PFL, is there could be a fighter that could just say, that fight was the one that made me be done.
Right.
Yeah, unless they go old school UFC style and like have alternate fights on the playoffs and stuff, then yeah, I mean, I got to imagine a #1 seed like Shields or in any division is going to be their first choice if they have to do the ultimate fighter, bring him back in the house move, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Marco, thanks for the call, my man. You want anything else on the way out?
Well, good to see Ron Jake little acceptance speech.
Yeah.
And, enjoy the fight this weekend, man.
Okay,
Tonight
buddy.
Tomorrow. Peace out.
Okay, take care. All right, let's finish up with the daily debate since we do have a member of the media / fighter here with us so we get a different perspective. It's pretty easy, all right, but last night there was a face-off between Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, and that leads to this question. With the fight expected to take later this year, and following this intense face-off, do you plan on buying Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz 3 pay-per-view later this year? Dan Tom?
I do. I heard some interviews recently up at MMAjunkie.com, of course, and, man, they actually both sounded passionate, like they were upset at each other like it was just yesterday, and I don't know, I'm kind of a sucker for it.
They're both past their prime, but they hate each other, so I want to tune in to see someone get their ass kicked. But even though they're past their prime, I feel like at least the matchmaking, the skill level will be even. So I'm okay with that. Goes?
It depends on the price point, but at first I didn't. I said no. That little face-off made me say yes.
Mike Jackson, you going to pay for this?
I call it what? Cheeto 3.
Cheeto
3.
I like it.
It's going to be a tax write-off, so let's go.
Would you pay 50?
It's a write-off. Let's go.
Goes?
No.
No?
Too much, 5-0, too much.
30?
$29.99.
Yeah, I think I'm in with that. 30 goes?
The 29 makes me feel better.
39? All right, 30. All right, there you have it.
I feel like a sucker at 30.
Actually, most people said no. 73% said no.
Oh, wow.
27 said yes. And 600 people plus voted on that question. Yeah, look at MMA Junkie. We had a lot of coverage from their red carpets, and eventually it led to a face-off that they had. Pretty intense. They almost kind of like buck bellies there a little bit. And I thought, ooh, that could lead to something. You touch a fighter, and then it's on.
Yeah.
You get in the face of a fighter. I don't care if you come within an inch or so. It's a little bit more of a safe zone in terms of, like, if you're the guy that's got to break them up. But once they touch or there's contact, it's like there needs to be some sort of a reaction. So it got a little scary for anyone that was in that immediate area.
It's like one of those, like, why is this fight happening? But we're going to watch.
We are.
Because we want to know what's going to happen.
I want to thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck with getting that next fight.
Thank you.
And I support that, man. I want to see you against Artem Lobov. You said you can make 55. You've made 55. So I'm in, man. Let's see that fight somewhere.
I appreciate it.
All right. That's Mike Jackson. He's coming off a big win over CM Punk at UFC 225. All right. Coming up next is Laci K. Summers. She's a model, and she'll be hosting at Sapphire's Gentlemen's Club. So we'll talk to her about the card and also everything that's going on with Sapphires. $35 gets you in the door, and that includes a buffet. So if you're looking for a spot to watch UFC 226 tomorrow night, check out Sapphire Gentlemen Club. up the street here on Industrial in Vegas. I've been there before. I'll admit it. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. It's the second hour of the MMA Junkie Radio Show. Big thanks to Mike Jackson for stopping by the studio. Congrats again to him for beating CM Punk at UFC 225 this past month. Goes you in, give him another fight.
Hell yeah.
I think
Why
so
not?
too, man.
Deserves
I think he earned it, yeah. All right, and I want to thank, this will be our last guest of the week. It's been a fun week, but it is Friday, and I got to remind you all to keep it locked on MMA Junkie throughout the weekend as we cover Tough 27 finale and the UFC 226 fight card tomorrow night. Now, speaking of UFC 226, if you need a spot to watch it, Sapphire's got you covered. Sapphire Las Vegas here in Sin City, off just a couple blocks away, right, Goes? We've been there. We got to fess up.
Yeah, there's not really fessing up. I mean, come on.
Well, there's a lot of guys that are like, oh, I've never been there. I've
Yeah.
been there, and there's hot chicks there, and I love it, and I get lap dances, I get drunk, and I'm a pig, and I walk out with glitter on my face, and I love it, and I'm proud of it. So all you men that are out there scared to say, oh, have I been there? Have I? Just admit it. We've all been there, man. And so Laci K. Summers, our guest here. Welcome, Laci.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Better now that you're here.
I was gonna say, if you haven't been to Sapphire, I'm gonna be there tomorrow. So you about to go?
You're hosting UFC
go.
226.
I am.
That's right. $35 gets you in the door. For one, they're going to feed you. You get a buffet out of that, all right? They have a lot of big screens there for you to enjoy UFC 226, and it's a good vibe. There's a lot of cool MMA fans that go there on a regular basis. Our friend Misha Tate has hosted there before. I've been there before, so
Awesome.
you're really, really, really going to dig it, and it's really, really a classy a spot here in Las Vegas. So for more information there, it's sapphirelasvegas.com. 35 gets you in the door. You want to drink some more? 65 is the next package up, and basically you'll get $50 in drinks. So you're right there, you're making 20. But if you just want to be a savage, it's $145 as a VIP guest, and what happens is they will provide transportation. The buffet is still in effect. You can go back 3-4 times, whatever, and drinks are free.
Wow. What more do you want? What else are you going to do? What else are you going to do?
You got to be a VIP, man. I mean, if you're in Vegas, if you're going to go big, if you're going to go big. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. Laci, tell me, MMA, as far as MMA, you a huge fan of the sport? How long have you been following the sport?
Actually, I am. So I actually started my modeling career as a ring girl when I was younger. So I started in this. I pretty much grew up in this. My dad was a huge fan. So after that, I mean, I just kind of grew up in it. So it's kind of my favorite sport.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite fighters?
My all-time favorite has got to be Conor. Some people hate on me for it. I don't even care.
Why do they hate on you for it?
I don't know.
He's a great fighter.
He is, but you know, people always have to talk their stuff. I mean, he's great and he talks shit. So I mean, what can he do? He kind of reminds me of myself, actually. But I think he's dope. Yeah. I talk a little bit.
All right. What about like going back a few years? Were you ever like a Liddell fan, Chuck Liddell, or Tito Ortiz, or Anderson Silva?
Yeah, I met Tito actually at the Playboy Mansion before. He's super cool. He's super dope. I haven't met the other ones though, but I mean they're around. They're good. You know, you can't hate on them.
Yeah, they're still fighting. Believe it or not, Tito Ortiz, who's 45, and Chuck Liddell, who's 49. They just signed on to fight. So I mean, a fight's a fight. We were just talking about that, but I think we're in.
Are you guys kind of sad that the Playboy Mansion is going away? All that.
You know what? I kind of am. It's so different now. Back when I started, it was like amazing, and they had, you know, all the films and all the girls and everything, and then it kind of toned down a little bit, and now that he's not there, it's like non-existent. They sold it, and it's all, you know, it's all gone.
Oh, it's sold?
Yeah.
The mansion, yeah.
Did you know? Did you ever watch fights there when they had the fights?
Actually, yeah. I was the ring girl for the fights, yeah.
For MMA or boxing?
Playboy Fight Night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a fun time.
Yeah,
that was really
so
cool.
fun.
It mixed everything we love together, right? Which is
Uh-huh.
basically what Sapphire's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Laci, food, fights, what?
You know, a lot of our listeners were excited that you were going to be on our show, and they wanted to pass on that thank you for, because obviously you're a superstar with millions of followers, but a lot of them post, and that's it. You're engaging.
Yeah, thank you.
And they
I
think
appreciate
that's
that.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's really important because you have to remember that like followers don't equal fans, and you just have to pay attention because it's not just all about me. People kind of, you know, they're like, okay, cool, they're attracted for a moment, but you have to be a personality, you have to be a human and a person. And I think that a lot of people miss that, you know, and a lot of people can just get, if you're anybody, if you're a model, if you're a celebrity, whatever, you get caught up in the money and the fame and the stuff, but you really have to take it back to what matters, and that's your fans and the people who made you who you are.
You know, George and I, when we take a photo and it's going on social media, we go through a few before we go, all right, that's the one.
A few,
How often do you
go through 100?
Well, I mean, because, you know, we'll make a dumb face or something like that. But yours
yeah.
mean more than ours.
Oh, mine's very, very
How many
calculated.
do you go through? Like, how long does that process take? From the moment you sit down and say, this is what I want to do, to the moment that you post.
Yeah, it takes a while because I edit actually all my own photos. So once they're taken, I go through probably about 100 or 200, and then I'm just like, no, next. Okay, like it takes probably. Sometimes it's really quick, but maybe 20 minutes.
If you could only keep 5 follows on your Instagram, people that you follow, who would they be?
Ooh.
Take us out of the equation because those are the obvious ones.
My
After
mama.
us.
My mama's got to be number 1. Connor. I follow Connor. Laci K. Summers. Do you follow her?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
You know, I'm not like a big celebrity person, so
No?
I don't really follow a lot of people. I don't really. That doesn't really excite me, and I wish I could say it did, but it really doesn't. I follow a lot of travel pages because, like, I'm obsessed with traveling and their pictures. So I don't know. I don't really like the drama and the people. So I would just say I just follow a bunch of travel pages.
Where are the places you like to go? Where have you traveled in the world that you really
Oh my gosh,
love?
I've been to Rome, which I loved. I'm really big on food because I'm very picky. So everyone's like, oh yeah, try all these foods. No,
No? No, how are you going to leave me hanging?
What? Oh,
man, she loves
oh, man.
Who are you talking
It's all
to?
about food.
Food, yes, my main. Yeah, Italy is pretty cool. I've been to Paris. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon where you're like, okay, I saw it. Now what? You know. So, but yeah, I love it. I love Greece. I love Florida. That's the United States, though.
Florida.
But yeah, I always bring it back to like the U.S. I still feel like that's like the best place ever.
Are you from Florida?
I'm actually from San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
So, and I live in L.A. But yeah, I was just actually there last week. So, I love traveling, but you know, it takes a while. So to get to where you want to go if you're overseas. So, yeah.
Here's a country. If you ever go back to Europe, have you been to Holland, Amsterdam?
I haven't. That's
it's
definitely
a cool
on my
party
list.
town. And the Dutch speak English.
Yeah.
So it's easy to make friends and hang out and just have a good time. But
there?
they have a lot of history to offer. And then there's a lot of partying as well.
Yeah,
I've been there.
That's definitely on my list for sure.
If you want a place that's like, let's go south some, there's 2 cities I would recommend: Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and Buenos Aires, Argentina. Both very good as far as like food. Have you had Brazilian barbecue? Like Texas?
I haven't.
What?
I know, you guys. I'm so picky. I'm telling you right now. You guys both looked at me like I'm.
You said you're a foodie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
okay,
like
check this out. See that guy right there? He's probably got a credit card.
Yeah.
Just go. Hey, that was cool, the MMA Junkie radio show. Let's go to lunch. Take me to Texas de Brazil. I guarantee you will thank us. And he'll thank us as well.
Really?
Texas de Brazil is awesome.
You just got me a free lunch.
He's like this. No. You know what? Texas de Brazil, you got to have a Brazilian steakhouse. And then Argentinians, they love their wine and steak and the same thing as well. So.
Yep.
What's the picky part? What are the things you don't like?
Oh my God, he just mentioned steak. You're going to kill me, but I don't eat meat.
You big dummy.
They have a salad bar.
A salad bar is good.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm so basic. Like, they're like, try new foods. I'm like,
You've cut it out completely, or you just tend to not eat it?
I tend to not eat it. I'll do like ground turkey and stuff, the healthier version. But yeah, I do my best to not. I'm almost vegan. I know. I'm boring. Look,
we're
no
not much
comment.
help there.
No comment.
Well, no, I'm just trying to think. Well, where can she go? But you can go to the salad bar still.
Oh,
still
yeah.
pretty good.
I'm just like, can I get tacos no meat? They're like, get out.
My first question would be, what's that?
Yeah.
Hey, how about you? So the last gentleman that was here, he fought in the UFC. He's a journalist, but he's also got some fighting skills. But he was able to fight somebody coming from the pro wrestling world, CM Punk. This happened last month. How about you? If they said, would you like to fight in the UFC's Octagon, what other celebrity would you like to fight?
Oh my goodness. Actually, it's funny because
you have beef with anyone?
I don't actually.
She's a vegan. She's got no beef.
I've been doing kickboxing for about 6 years now, so it's super fun for me. But to be honest, since I don't have beef with anyone, my celebrity crush is Angelina Jolie. So if I could get anywhere around her to touch her, it would be her.
Oh, so you'd want to grapple, huh?
Oh yeah, I want to touch her.
Okay, no punching?
No punching. I just want to touch her.
Yeah, well, that's not a bad one. I wouldn't mind grappling her.
Her and Megan Fox go hand in hand. So people who love Angelina Jolie love Megan Fox. Is that true?
Not for me.
Is it the thumbs?
I think she's a what?
The thumbs.
What's that?
You never seen her thumbs? She has toe thumbs.
Who, Megan Fox?
You've heard about this, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! See, I don't think
I'm
she's
hiding mine.
cute.
I'm like, do I have that?
I'm like old school. Like, no one compares to Angelina Jolie. I can't even put anyone in her category.
You know when she looked the hottest? Gone in 60 Seconds. That movie. It's kind of corny. They're sitting there boosting cars in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Remember that?
What about Mr. and Mrs. Smith? She was hot in that too.
She was hot in that too.
Tomb
but in the
Raider.
other one, she kind of was like
Operation Firefox, old school.
Oh, he just showed me the picture of the thumbs. I can't.
It's rough, right?
No. Yeah, that's a no for me.
Do you like women's MMA too? Or just
I don't
the
really.
men?
Yeah, I don't really follow the women's. Although, of course, like Ronda Rousey is like amazing, but I don't really follow the women. I don't know. I'm just all about the guys.
Ronda Rousey got inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame yesterday. It was pretty cool.
Just telling me that. That's amazing.
Yeah. What other sports do you like? You say you train, so you kickbox, and
so
but
MMA
did you play
would be
any?
my number one, but I would say basketball. I love my Warriors. Everybody hates on me just because they're so good.
There's a big Bay Area contingent over there.
Yeah, see what's up. So she knows what's up.
We're Lakers fans. That stings.
Okay.
That one stings.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then my 49ers, even though
I'll leave it up here.
Good. Okay. See, there you go. Now we're friends again.
Yeah.
I just have to represent my home teams, you know. So. Definitely any.
Did you play basketball growing up or anything?
No. I mean, I could like pretend. I could do like a sexy basketball video.
You should. Have you done one?
No, but that's a good idea.
That is a good one, right? Yeah. Warriors gear, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And how often do you like? I mean, is there a strategy to how often a video should come out?
So it just depends. I mean, yes, there actually is strategies, and I think people just, like you said, a lot of people just upload, and I think that's with the way like Instagram and the algorithms for any social media is going, you just have to also follow the trends and like what's updating. So for me, it's just you have to judge your engagement, and then like me, I don't do another post until I get like 10,000 comments, until people are interactive with that first one, and then I'll post like something else. But I do music now, so I'm recording music, and I'm releasing a video every month for music, so that's a little bit different. That's on YouTube. But as far as like Instagram, yeah, you just have to be very, very calculated and make sure it's colorful and it's different and there's variety of things, and you're not just like, oh, selfie, butt pic. It's like there's a strategy to this thing.
Yeah, I limit my butt pics now.
Yeah.
It's totally. And it's like Wednesday and Fridays. Is like, is there certain algorithms for which days? On a serious note, is there certain days like
oh yeah, everyone does the hump day, you know, the middle of the week, and they're like, oh my gosh. But I mean, I think any day is good for a butt pic, you know. What about you? Do you post your butt pics?
I used to. I got too many complaints, to be honest, since I went public with these guys.
Really?
They had to, there was some talking to before they brought me on board. I had to cut a few things out. But can I ask you one question? You said you follow the guy MMA fighters. So let me ask you, if you had 3 positions, a little hypothetical, 3 positions to fill. You have a chauffeur, okay? You have a butler, and just a general security when you're going out, you know, crowd control.
Yeah.
Pick any 3 fighters you want, but assign them to those positions.
Okay, crowd control security would be Connor.
Okay.
He's dope. I don't think anyone would want to fuck with him. Chauffeur would be Gilbert Melendez.
Hey, he's a buddy of ours.
Yeah, mine too. Actually, when I started the MMA, he was awesome, and I met him, and we've been friends ever since. So he's amazing.
Right. He's from the mean streets of Santa Ana.
That's where we grew up.
That's where we grew up.
Yeah. And then
you probably sensed the machismo when you walked in.
And then what was the last one? Butler. Okay.
She's gonna be around the house.
Oh, Nick Diaz.
He does eat clean. He's a clean eater. Yeah. And I think he's a vegan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Really?
You picked a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, I also worked with him, like, growing up, too. But, I mean, he's a badass, so it'd be funny to see him like that.
Nice.
I was going to say Jake Shields because he's a vegan.
You know what? He's dope, too.
Yeah,
he's a really good friend of
Nick
mine
Diaz,
also.
that whole group, they have to, you know, for fighting and stuff. But Nick does triathlons and marathons or something like that. Yep. And, I think he's 32, 33 now. Somewhere around 20, someone just broke down the back of the ingredients and what goes into food. Yeah. And since then, he's been obsessed with just eating clean.
I mean, it's going to change your life. It's cool because, you know, like I said, I started my career with all of them, and they're kind of always a team, and they always, like, you know, they're all cool, and they're all like similar, like location, with like Nick and Nate being in Stockton and the Bay Area and stuff. So yeah, they're dope.
This Laci K. Summers here with us, and she'll be hosting tomorrow night at Sapphire, Las Vegas. It's a UFC 226 party. $35 gets you in the door. But if you want to go in there as a VIP, they will scoop you up, they will feed you, and it's unlimited drinks. That's the way to go. It's $145 to be a VIP at Sapphire, Las Vegas. We've been there many times, and it's great. They have big TVs. They have a good vibe, good food, solid drinks, beautiful women, and of course Laci will be hosting the event.
Come take pictures with me.
Exactly.
Give me hugs.
By the way, all that screaming, Belgium, I believe, is up 1-0 against Brazil in the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and there's a lot of Brazilians out there that they're going to be very, very disappointed if they don't turn things around. All right, Laci, tomorrow night in the main event, we have Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier. Stipe is going to be defending his heavyweight belt against Daniel Cormier, who's the light heavyweight champion. So we have champion versus champion. It's like a mega fight, a super fight. Who do you think's going to bring that one down? Who do you think's going to win that one?
I'm going to have to say Stipe.
Yeah?
I used to work with him, and I did like a magazine shoot with him, and he's super nice. Not only is he super nice, and I love him as a person, but I just think his takedown defense is better and his striking is better. I don't know. I just think he's a better fighter. So I'm gonna have to go with him.
He's got a lot of one punch KO type power, for sure.
He's got a lot of power.
Yeah, 2016. I think he got 3 guys in the first round. So that is a definite path to victory for him.
Yep.
He also wrestled, not to the level of Cormier, but it's going to be a great fight. I can't wait.
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard by now, but Max Holloway and Brian Ortega, Holloway fell out of his fight. So we're not going to have 2 title fights, but overall it's still going to be a great card.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Also, Francis Ngannou, who just fought Stipe Miocic, he fights Derek Lewis, 2 big heavyweights. That one's going to bring the house down, too.
Ooh. I think any fight like that, it's just like, oh my gosh, everyone's just gonna jump to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great one. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
Every in-studio guest that comes through, we always ask them one question. Can you share a good street fight story with us?
A street fight story?
You can go back as far as you need to. It could be kindergarten, whenever.
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Oh God, I have a lot of those. I got bullied in school so bad. This is going to be a little scary, though. But, so, in school, I actually was pulled out of school in 6th grade just because the bullying was so bad. I got jumped multiple times. All this stuff. I got, cornered in the bathroom. I had to eat lunch in the bathroom. You know, the whole movies. Yeah. Look at me now. What? Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all want me. No, but for real. So, anyways, after school one time, I was leaving. This is the day before my mom pulled me out.
6th grade?
And I was homeschooled. 6th grade, yep. And I was walking. And like I said, I mean, I've been doing self-defense my whole life, but seriously the last 7 years. But so anyway, I think I took it way too many times, and I was just over it, and I was just over people, trying to jump me and fight me. So my grandpa put me in classes, and I was practicing. So I was wearing this skirt, and these girls came up and pantsed me, and they didn't think I was gonna do anything about it because I never did.
Hold the skirt down.
Oh yeah, so. Then they tried to run off while I grabbed the girl's backpack and I threw her on the ground and I just started punching. Oh my God, there was so much blood. Yeah, I didn't care. And I mean, I got suspended. I was going to leave anyways, but I mean, I think I won that fight.
That's a good
I was
story.
on top, so they
You
had to
checked
put me
the
out.
bully.
Oh yeah.
Enough is enough, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No one ever messed with me after that, even though I was gone. But they lived in my neighborhood and I never saw them ever.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Congrats.
That one hit close to the heart. He pantsed me once when I was a kid. I was on a ladder bringing down Christmas ornaments, so I couldn't pull my pants back up. And he pantsed me. And I was
Wait, are
stuck
you
on the
brothers?
horse. Yeah.
What? That's dope.
You believe
yeah.
him? What a jerk, huh?
I mean, I did some stuff to my little sister too a lot, so I get it.
Were you homeschooled the rest of your...
Yep. And that's actually how I started my career. And I was trying to find an outlet, and I was just doing research for... That's how I met Nick and Nate and Jake and all them is because I'm from the Bay Area. So I did this bunch of research, and I was like, I just want to do modeling. I want to do this. And so I just found all the local MMA cards, but they had bigger people, so they'd always be there back when they had Strike Force and stuff like that. So I would just do that, and I just kind of made friends, and I kind of networked, and that's what I did when everyone else was in school.
You know what the best thing about being homeschooled is?
You don't have to do math. Your mom does it for you.
You're locked to be class valedictorian.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
All right, so this is Laci K. Summers. You got to follow her on Instagram. It's instagram.com and then /LACIKAYSOMERS. You will thank me.
Yes.
Laci K. Summers will be hosting at Sapphire Las Vegas on Saturday for UFC 226. Go to www.sapphirelasvegas.com for more information if you want to find out about the club. But specifically, 35 gets you in the door. It includes a free buffet. You get to watch all the fights on some massive big screens. It's a really, really fun time. We've been there before for fights. We've been there before just on regular nights. You should go there anytime you want to hang out with your buddies. There's a cool Mexican restaurant attached right next to it as well.
Yeah.
Can't say enough about it. And in the summer, I know they have a great pool scene. So they got my vote, man, as best gentleman club here in Las Vegas. 145 if you really, really want to take it up a notch and be a VIP. Call them, have them scoop you up, play it safe, eat all you want, drink all you want, and enjoy fights provided by the UFC. It's going to be a fantastic card, and Laci will be hosting.
Yes,
Laci,
guys. You don't want to be
so
anywhere
much
else. Yes, thank you
for
so much.
stopping by. We really appreciate it. We're going to take a break. You're listening to MMA Junkie Radio on Sirius XM, Rush 93. Stay close. We'll be right back.
Tell your boss to reschedule that meeting. Call your wife and tell her lunch is off. It's time for more MMA Junkie Radio with Gorgeous George and Goes.
I'll text you, though.
Goes is going to text Micah.
Oh, sorry. Micah's probably going back to his room, huh?
I think so. That's where I'd go. Folks, start your day with the SiriusXM by enabling the SiriusXM skill on your Amazon device, and tell Alexa to set an alarm for your favorite channel. You'll wake up to the sounds of SiriusXM. With SiriusXM and Alexa, you can get the latest sports news each morning without picking up your phone or turning on the damn TV. What a beautiful woman she is, huh?
Yeah, she's very cool.
She's very, very cool. And, oh, thank you, Danny. Want to thank George from Sapphire for bringing her over. But, Goes, I was expecting, like, more little attitude. Hey, you know, like, all I got to do is push this button and 10 million people love me and like me and comment. And she couldn't have been more down to earth.
Totally cool. And she likes fights.
She likes fights. Yeah, cool chick, man. Give her a follow on Instagram. She'll be hosting at Sapphire tomorrow night, UFC 226. I'm hearing Dan Hendo might be in town.
Henderson.
Yeah. I mean, who hasn't gone to a strip club and spent at least $145? Look at it this way. You don't have to pay for the cab to get there or the Uber. So they'll scoop you up. You get to eat. And you get to drink for free. You know, and then after that, you can tack on whatever you were, if you were going to do the other VIP experience or just have fun or get some lap dances. But it's really, really a good deal. And you get to watch UFC 226.
That was the wrong girl to take a picture with us behind the desk. We should have gone in front of the desk for that one, huh?
Yeah, it was. We should have brought back the Zumba music.
I'm glad we stayed behind the desk for that one, guys.
We should have brought the Zumba music. All right. Hey, what's up, man? All right. So listen, this is final prediction time. We're coming down the home stretch here. Danny, did we get all the? We didn't get all the commercials out of the way, right?
No, we still have one more, and then we still have.
You changed your mind at all? Yeah. Miocic and Cormier.
No, not really.
Cormier?
Yeah, I mean, my problem is this: I want him to get the takedown. I think he will get the takedown. It's just what he's going to do with it. Because if he's just thinking about taking him down and kind of just riding out the round and controlling him, I don't know that he can do that a minimum of 5 times. It just seems like a lot. So I'm hoping he can get something done while he has him on the ground.
I'm still the same. Obviously, I'm on the same. But like, I will say this: I'm going to step off my wagering a little bit that I was going to do on Cormier, because to me, it just comes down to the same thing. I think they both can take each other down. I don't think either guy can hold the other guy down. So unless someone gets the knockout, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to come down to the gas tank. And whether it's Cormier's, slip, which he's fine from, okay, I'll get that out of my head, sure. But the 246, now that was his normal heavyweight weight, guys, but in his last 2 fights, he started going down. He was 235, I want to say, against Mir, and then 225 against Nelson. And I was hoping he would maybe come around the 230, 235 range, but 240, 40 pounds higher, that just worries me. We've seen it with guys when they go up in weight. It sometimes doesn't always burn them. Like Masvidal, his first one at 170, he looked a little like he was celebrating it. BJ is a guy known for celebrating it when he was allowed to go up in weight. And you all see guys do that. They all celebrated a little bit in that first one up, and that's why I was kind of hoping maybe to see a tighter Cormier. Not that it's going to affect him. I mean, remember he could wrestle just as well at 245, but that is one thing. If you're really looking at, like Go says, you want this tight of a matchup, you almost have to split hairs on things like that.
Right. Well, let me say this. 246, you're right. I was hoping, for something less, but does the fact that AKA goes hard and they train hard, does that count for something? I mean, it doesn't seem like the coaches and your other teammates are going to let you slack off.
Right.
The fact that there's just a championship vibe in the gym, and the fact that they train hard at high levels. Yeah. Could it be that he just had it all? He trained hard, but he didn't let a meal slip by. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I got to imagine he's going to the octagon. Like 230, 235, right? Even when he was at 205, he was probably still stepping into that octagon. Not much lighter than that. I mean, so in that sense, yeah. I mean, yeah, I could totally see it not making a difference at all when you look at it from that perspective, right?
This is so difficult, guys, to do a show right now with this going on, with this madness, with this young lady that just left, with this up here.
That big roar you just heard is Belgium. They made the score 2-0 over Brazil. So the South American countries, they did well to get into the next round, but so far Argentina's gone down, Colombia's gone down, Uruguay's gone down, and now Brazil's down 2-0. Now Brazil's got the players. They can come back from 2-0, but I don't know about that, man. This one's going to be tough because Belgium has some really, really good players. It could even get uglier than this. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but the World Cup has been full of surprises, and this one definitely would be one of the bigger ones.
Dog friendly too, right?
I think that's Kevin De Bruyne from Manchester City. Yeah, it is, scoring the goal there. Really, really nice shot.
Wow.
Tavares and Adesanya tonight. Anybody sway there? I swayed. I started off as Tavares, and then I told Matt Erickson, I go, I'm liking the speed from Adesanya. You know, I'm a big proponent of speed and reach, and he has it. Plus, I really like his stand-up pedigree, and then I switched back to Tavares again. He got pissed at me, but we had to go with Tavares because he's just got, I think, more of the all-around package. You know what I mean? This is a great, great fight, and this is a great, great fight. And I'm going with Brad Tavares.
I just feel like, aside from everything you just said, I feel like Brad is still getting better. I think every fight he adds a new wrinkle to his game, and he's really become one of those leaders there at Extreme Couture. So I ended up sticking with Brad in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the technical terms here. There's the grand package, and there's the more complete package. I'm going with the more complete package and Brad Tavares. Yeah.
All right. Moving up to the co-main event is Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. Another fight where you're capable of swaying back and forth. Did their weigh-ins or did their open workouts or anything they've said swayed you back and forth? I mean, big note, Francis Ngannou came in 10 pounds lighter than his weigh-in for the Stipe Miocic fight. He looked a lot leaner. Could that have been what addresses maybe the cardio issue? He stayed in Vegas this whole time. He didn't go to Paris, France to finish up a camp. He's also with a new coach, John Wood, no longer Dewey Cooper. So any thoughts on this one, guys?
Sorry, I'll just comment real quick on the weight because I'm glad you brought that up because when I was watching tape for this one, that's one thing that stood out to me. I remember the talk of Francis coming in heavier. That was a concern before the fight. Obviously, more of a talking point right after the Stipe fight. But when I went back to watch his earlier footage, he really looked a lot slimmer down. I mean, it's hard to, you're splitting hairs when you're talking about a guy that massive, but you could tell he was a lot more slimmed down. And like you said, George, I went back and looked at that weigh-in photo this morning where he's 10 pounds lighter, and yeah, it almost looks like it's like early career Ngannou. Now, what does that mean? I don't know what it's going to translate to, but I got to think that's a good sign with the conversation we're just having with DC in regards to, where do you want to set a guy, a little higher or a little lower in that heavyweight division?
I'm interested in the gambling aspect of this fight. If you're going to get two guys who more than likely are going to stand and bang and throw that hard, take anyone at 3+350 at that point, right? Yeah. And you get that with.
Is that what the latest odds are?
Wasn't it +350 yesterday?
Dude, that's what surprised me.
Give me the underdog, either guy, whoever, anybody at +350 that both guys throw so hard. Give me that guy.
Well, I saw you pick the dog. Lewis for staff picks, I believe, goes right, and I'm like that makes sense. You're gonna really pick one dog. For a card, and again, there's no rule of thumb. MMA is crazy, but here's a weird little not a rule of thumb by any means, but like for example, if all my picks are favorites on the staff pick guys, I'm like, there's something wrong here because in my mind, there's always got at least one spoiler. There's always at least one. If you have to nail an average, right? Like, what's an average? 1.5, 2, 3 underdogs hit in a 5 card? I would say one, right around 1.5 or something. It's
this whole card is nuts. Like, think about it. You could potentially pair up Daniel Cormier and Derek Lewis, both underdogs. But, I mean, how many times have we had the conversation here about Daniel Cormier and where his place is in history? You're going to give me those two underdogs at that price? Yeah. Why not?
Well, especially weekends like this. You said it. Either you or George said, like, the weekends like this, we also have this conversation. We have all the high-level players going against each other. A, underdogs are alive, but B, like you said, maybe it's just better not to bet these cards and just enjoy it because you're getting the best fighters going at each other. And as crazy as it is to try to predict this sport anyways, even crazier when you have these competitive matches because not even talking about the super fights, but even if you look at the other fights lower down on the card, like even like a Melender Max Griffin, like that's a competitively matched up fight. Like all these matches are very competitive.
I'm gonna gladly enjoy it and still bet it.
Okay, all right.
But I might lose money.
I'm a degenerate too, man.
I normally do.
I'm with you.
All right, now let me phrase it to you this way: What should Lewis be concerned with the most from Ngannou's toolbox?
Shoot, anytime he just enters, really, because you look at Lewis when he's been getting caught from, earlier in his career, Mitrione and so forth, he's just so aggressive on his entries. And Ngannou, I hate to say someone, they intercept well with the punch. Like, well, they're going to punch. The punch, you're supposed to hit the fist to the face, duh. But I'm just talking about if you look at the way, Ngannou sets up and reads, like when he was feigning Overeem, and if he sees a guy dipping, especially to their right side, because he really loves throwing that left. Right. I mean, if I'm in Lewis's camp, I'm just like, watch out for that left hand, whether it's that shovel hook, that uppercut. Ngannou loves throwing that thing. It's like a second nature for him. Like that's what I would say watch out for. But I think the question everybody's going to be wondering about Derek Lewis is not about the striking. Is he going to try to wrestle, right? I think that's the big question. Like, are we going to see him try to dust off a double leg? He's done them before. Not the best. He's done takedowns from the clinch, but how's that going to fare against Ngannou? I think that's what everybody is probably going to ask tactically.
So that would be my next question. What should Ngannou be concerned about the most from Lewis? That potential takedown, or is there a particular combo that Lewis goes to that you think can exploit Ngannou's striking defense?
I mean, as far as striking defense goes, that's out of my caliber, especially when it comes to high level guys at heavyweight who just take one shot. That's like rolling the dice. But as far as the takedowns, what I noticed was that, I mean, obviously you got to imagine Ngannou's got to worry about it. That was the downfall: clinch, wrestling, just grappling engagements from Stipe. But the thing is, it's weird because if you want to judge Ngannou, you're only good as your last fight, and everybody's, Ngannou can't wrestle. But you go back, and he was actually defending power doubles from Curtis Blades pretty well, right? And that's one of the takedowns Derek Lewis does. Well, what's one of the other takedowns Derek Lewis does? He'll kind of just do like a rough like Uchimata. We'll try like muscle a guy down. It's kind of lower percentage at heavyweight. He'll get guys down with it. But then you look at Ngannou when he went against Overeem. And Overeem next to Barnett, one of the best heavyweight clinch fighters. And it's tough. It's a small sample size, but you just look at Overeem trying to spin him and just looking kind of bewildered. I have that stuck in my head, and I know Stipe, did well with him there. But even if you look at Stipe controlled. But look how tired Stipe was even after the first round, just trying to control that dude for one round. So it's not as easy as it seems on paper. Derek Lewis shot more takedowns than I remember when I went back to watch his footage. But if you look at what he's doing compared to what Ngannou's defended against, man, it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah. I think Francis needs to remember it's Derek Lewis in front of him and not Stipe Miocic. He needs to get that fight out of his head because this is a completely different fighter and really focus on this matchup. And I think Derek needs to watch out for the speed because I would say you got to be first because Francis throws so fast and he throws combinations that if you're going to sit around and try and counter that first punch, you better do it quick because that next punch is coming right after, and I think that could give Derek some problems.
Quick update on the World Cup. Belgium's still up 2-0, and they're almost 40 minutes into the first half.
Man.
Killers fans, the Killers are playing a private show for SiriusXM subscribers at the Stephen Talking House in the Hamptons. We have your chance to be there. One grand prize winner will win a trip for two and tickets to this very special show. For official rules and to enter, go to SiriusXM.com/thekillers. Do that before July 18th. No additional purchase is necessary. We got to take one more break, and then we'll get the hell on out of here and enjoy the second half of this Belgium-Brazil game and hang out with a lot of the MMA junkies that are chilling in the house. We'll be right back. Stay close.
Let's see. Up, up, down, down, left, right, VA, start. You told me that code would get rid of them. Yeah, well, they're still here. Okay, but now they know I tried to kill them. Hold on, Mom. Here are George and Goes.
All right, reminder to keep it locked on MMA Junkie throughout the weekend. We got you covered for the Tough 27 finale, UFC 226. We got writers and videographers and photographers in town. Some of us live in town, and a couple of them flew in. So they've been hustling all week, starting with the World MMA Awards to last night's Hall of Fame, and then, of course, these last two fight cards that we have coming up. As we mentioned earlier at PFL 3, Ray Cooper III defeated Jake Shields. Brutal KO, and it'll be interesting to see if Shields is now out or if he can be able to shake off that KO and come back and fight in another regular season matchup and continue throughout the regular season on to the playoffs, because I know Jake really wanted to win that $1 million, win yet another belt, and it just didn't go his way last night. Also, because we are going to turn over the studio very quickly, I do want to thank our guests. We're not doing any overtime, that's for sure. So I want to thank all of our guests for the week, including James Vick, Leslie Smith, Angela Lee, and Lauren Mack. Boy, that feels like it was 2 weeks ago.
Dude, World MMA Awards seem like they were 2
Been
weeks
a long
ago.
week, man, I know. Jake Shields, Jade Bryce, Darren Elkins, Alex Caceres, John Howard, Adam Hunter. Adam will be performing all week at the LA Comedy Club at the Stratosphere Hotel, 8 p.m. start time, and it's a great show. He roasts MMA fighters that are usually there, and then he usually has a comic come by. He's got a lot of friends in the industry, and the last 2 times I've been there, I got to see an extra set from Marlon Wayans, and I got to see an extra set from Jeremy Piven. So good times to be had at the LA Comedy Club. Curtis Millender, Jenny Andrade, 2-time Ring Card Girl of the Year, good friend of the show. Eve Edwards, Ray Cooper III, Vince Pichel, stories for days, right? He gets down in the 805, yeah. Dave Manley from the MMA Bobbleheads, MMABobbleheads.com. They released the Bruce Buffer bobblehead yesterday. Get your hands on one. Go to www.com. Holy cow. www.mmabbobblehead.com. There you go. Also, Dan Henderson and Chuck Liddell will be signing at the Las Vegas Fight Shop. Dan Henderson goes from 10 to 11:30. Chuck Liddell goes from 12 to 1:30. Las Vegas Fight Shop is inside the Planet Hollywood's Miracle Mile shops. Go down there, say hello to Dave, the creator of these bobbleheads, and our good friend Scott Stern, the owner of the Las Vegas Fight Shop. Also, big thanks to Bruce Buffer, Jimmy Smith, Art Davies, Sean Wheelock, Randy Couture, Dan Henderson, Mike Jackson, Julian Marquez, and the lovely Lacey K. Summers, who will be hosting at Sapphire Las Vegas tomorrow night, UFC 226. For $35 gets you in the door, and that includes a free buffet. $145 is drinks all night, the buffet, and transportation to get there. All right, so just a few minutes left here. We are going to do a daily debate. Right, Ghost? How do we explain this daily debate that we're doing?
Well, we start off by saying today's daily debate, the question for MMA Junkie Radio, with plenty of last-minute changes to big UFC events in recent history, including this week's UFC 226. When do you guys order a UFC pay-per-view? Is it as soon as it becomes available, a week out, after the weigh-ins, or the day of the event? George, you start off.
I know. I felt like I was talking about this earlier, but my way of doing it is the day of the event for sure. I don't wait till the very end because I don't want to log jam, and the next thing you know, I'm missing part of the intros or any part of the fight. So it's usually a sweet spot of about 2 hours before the show. By then, I'm convinced. I don't need that last main event on Fox to convince me. I've already made up my mind by the time I've seen the card and we've talked about the card. So for me, it's the day of the event, about 2 hours before, just to be a little bit more specific. How about you, Dan?
I'm bad, man. I wait till the last minute. I usually wait till the Rogan guy and the Dana White guy are yelling at the TV, and then after that it was just 2 bald guys because one of them went bald. And now I don't think any of the bald guys yell before the pay-per-view events, but usually right before the pay-per-view event, I'm a last-minute procrastinator.
I used to be the guy that would order it right after the press conference. That usually got me going. People going back and forth there.
The one announcing the selling of the tickets,
No,
or the one on Fight Week?
The one on Fight Week.
Okay.
But then I got stung too many times by it, so now I end up being the guy that usually orders it around 10 a.m. the day of.
Yeah. So we all have to get past the weigh-ins and I guess any last-minute hiccups is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. Almost 900 of you voted, and this is how it went down. 88%, overwhelming, probably the most overwhelming yet, said the day of the event. 7% after the weigh-ins, 4% as soon as it's available, 1% a week out. So what does that tell the UFC, by the way?
You better stack these cards.
You better stack these cards, and you may want, because if anything falls out, people are waiting until the final to decide, am I going to the movies? Am I going to an amusement park? Am I taking the family to the beach, to a nice dinner? They're looking for their options, and they're waiting until the very end. But if you stacked it nicely, order that pizza, get some beer out of the fridge, and let's have some fun. All right, there you have it. That's the Daily Debate, brought to you by the MMA Junkie Radio team. All right, guys, so what's been your favorite part of International Fight Week?
I would say I really enjoyed hearing Art Davies' speech at the Hall of Fame. I thought that was pretty cool. And like John Anik said, if they did it chronologically, it would make sense for him to be the first guy in. So to hear that, I think is very cool to just not start over, but now I think you can appreciate a lot of what everybody else is saying.
Dan Tom?
Easy pick for me, Zumba dancing with Jenny Andrade.
Oh, yeah. That is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, how do you top that? Dan wins today.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Dan, I will say, though, when Jenny was dancing and you elected to dance with her, death threats came in.
Oh, yeah, because I initially stood on the thing, yeah.
Because you got in the way of the camera and Jenny.
But
so
if you saw
see the lovely and talented Jenny Andrade Zumba dancing.
But if you saw I did the fake out, like I started like I was really committing to it, and right away I start moving off camera and I start bowing out.
You did.
I just wanted to do my part to get her to start, and then that was it.
If we had the hook,
yeah,
right, all you would have seen is Dan Tom like,
oh yeah,
and he would have been pulled off. But you definitely got her going, and she did well. She did well. Yeah. Art Davie getting inducted was cool. Seeing Ronda again was cool. She still has some work to do before I think she can fall in love with our community, our sport. She's doing so well at WWE. It could be she don't give a fuck, but I think she does, man.
I think she does too.
I think she does. Been there. Right, because she saw, man, just hearing what Dana White said and seeing the Ronda signs and seeing everybody stand up and clap for her, she has to understand that it's a select few, because she does have millions and millions of followers, right? 10% of 6 million is 600,000. 1% of 6 million is 60,000. 0.1% of 6 million is 6,000. So even if only 0.1% were haters, that's still 60,000 that made her life hell and miserable. You know what I mean? But it's still a vast minority compared to all the people that really, really appreciated her or loved her or rooted for her or whatever. And I wish she would understand that, you know. A lot of times when you're in an arena and you hear boos, you think that the whole arena's booing. But sometimes it can just be a group of about 20 or 30 in a certain area, and it sounds like the whole arena's booing, and that's not what's happening. But what do I know, man? I just think that she needs – I'm hoping she really, really comes out of this. I think she's still in the funk.
What do I know is kind of it is what it is. But, all right, here's what I think should have happened.
Well, what do I know in the sense that I'm not her? I can't – if I was her, I can say this is what she's feeling, but I don't know. But what I do know is I've met a lot of people, and I've seen how a lot of people cope with this, and most people get out of it.
Here's what I think could have happened, okay? I don't think anybody has a problem with Ronda Rousey, the fighter, what she was able to accomplish in the octagon. It was more maybe her attitude on tough, certain things that she said in press conferences. What I thought would have been a gangster move, and you see all the people that are out there cheering for her, a lot of them are younger girls. They're holding signs. I thought a good lesson would have been, you know what? I'm going to have Miesha Tate induct me, my biggest rival, to show everybody that you can get past things. And this is maybe the first step towards getting past that.
I hung out with some people from Fox Sports yesterday. Thank you for that lovely dinner as well. the rigatoni goes at that Lucky Penny? Money. And I told them that. I credited you. And a few of them were like, hey, this guy's on to something. A few of them were like, well, they weren't so sure. But a few of them were actually feeling you. I was feeling you when you said it as well. Would it have been a gangster move if Misha said, nah?
She wouldn't do that.
I know.
But
She's
yeah.
nice. She's so nice.
I think it would have been a good lesson.
I think you're right. I think you're right. It would have been kind of like a come full circle thing. In fact, when the red carpet was happening yesterday, I think Mike Bond or somebody asked Chuck Liddell, so many years have gone by, you've beaten them twice. Why is it that you guys can't just take that iconic picture that says, we had a great rivalry, we're good now, or something, you know? And Chuck's response was actually pretty funny. He just goes, have you not met Tito? Kind of like he's just a jerk. You know, like maybe he wants to do it, or maybe he doesn't. But a lot of rivals in other sports have made their peace at some point. But these two, not only have they not made their peace, they're still gonna fight. Yeah. Let's finish up with a call with Dan in Oregon, then we'll get out of here. Dan in Oregon, what's up, buddy? Close up.
Man, if PFL's rule set couldn't make that organization exciting enough with the finishes, we get blessed with Mario Yamasaki over there, and he's giving us the Mortal Kombat shit where he's just looking at him like, finish him, come on, take him out, die. And if we put a gun to Dana White's head, do you think he would still say no to the 165-pound division? Back to you guys, I'm out.
Yeah, that's a good thing to say, and if we haven't said it yet, Michael Chiesa missed weight, and he says he's done with 55. So he has to move up to 170. But I know if 165 was available, that's where he would go. I've been ready for 65 and 75 for a long time. And who knows if they figure out that Max Holloway, it wasn't concussion-driven. You know, these symptoms came more from the weight cut itself. I mean, how many red flags do we need before we react? Does someone need to die?
You got one belt that's kind of up in limbo right now. I think it'd be a good chance to introduce a new one.
That's the third time that Max Holloway's had an incident come up. The first one was the ankle injury, UFC 222. UFC 223, they stopped his weight cut. Remember, he was filling in last minute. I don't hold that one against him. But now we're at UFC 226, still no Max Holloway. And this guy was a guy that fought very frequently.
Just released a statement on Junkie. Go ahead and check that out, folks, if you're listening right now. Max Holloway official statement. No, didn't at all. This is just hitting the press now. Class is what everybody's subtweeting it, so I'm sure it's something good. But yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Sorry, I literally just saw it.
1 minute. Max Holloway breaks silence. 2 days after his official removal, blah, blah, blah.
Of course, the rest of the analysis and stuff for UFC 226 this weekend, you guys can find at MMAjunkie.com. I have my breakdown and betting articles dropping today and tomorrow before the show, the big show that is, and tonight, Tough 27 finale.
Here's what he said. It is what it was. That's different. No, it was what it was. Respect to Ortega and his team. Thank you to Dana White and the UFC staff for making my health a priority. Thank you to Frankie Edgar and Little Heathen for being about the champ life and stepping up. Are they fighting?
No, but they were offered.
Okay. He doesn't really go into what happened. Says he was frustrated, stayed buckled in. Yeah. I don't know. He doesn't really give too much. We'll find out more soon enough. Thank you to everybody who tuned in all week. We'll see you all on Monday. For Goes and Dan and Danny, I'm George. Have a nice day. Go out there and be a champion.
You'll never